Hi, in this video we are going to discuss about how to locate an element in a circular linked list. So the input for this operation will be a list and the element which we are going to locate. So for example, if this list is given and the element is given as 15, then the function is expected to return 3. That is the position where this element is present. And if the element is not present, for example, if I am going to give the element as 30, 30 is not present in this circular linked list, in that case it will give -1. Since we are returning the position of the element, -1 is okay, fine. Because position cannot be negative, we can give -1. This is the idea behind this particular function. So what we can do is, we can have a temporary pointer, initialize that to head and have a counter, right? And initialize that to 1. And we will be checking if the data part of the temp is equal to the element what we are searching, then we will return counter. Otherwise we have to move to the next node. And how long we will be doing this is till we reach the last node. In a circular linked list, next part of last node is equal to head. So we will stop as soon as we reach the last node, right? Why? Because in a single linked list we can tell while temp not equal to null. Okay, I can check the when I am in the loop itself, I can check the value of the node. But in a circular linked list, since it is equal to head, we will initialize temp also to head, and the stopping condition also, if I am not going to stop when I reach the last node, stopping condition also will tell while temp not equal to head, right? In that case, the check will not happen at all, the loop will not happen at all. So what we will do is, we will just stop as soon as we reach the last node, come out of the loop and do a separate check for the last node alone, right? So we will come out of the loop and check if temp data part is equal to the element what we are searching for, and then we will return counter, right? If none of these things are satisfied, then we can tell counter return -1. And the special case that we have to consider is when the list is empty, we have to communicate failure and return -1. Of course, -1 itself will communicate the failure. So let us formally write the algorithm. The input is going to be the list and the element which we are going to locate. If list is empty, then communicate failure and return -1. Otherwise, declare a temporary pointer, temp and integer counter, and initialize temp to first node and counter to 1. While the next part of the temp not equal to head, right? That is when we are not in the last node, we are going to repeat step number 5 and 6. In 5, we check the data part of the node pointed by temp. If it is equal to element, then we return the counter. Otherwise, we move to the next node and increment the counter, right? As I told you, we have to explicitly check for the last node alone after we come outside the loop. So we are checking if data part of temp is equal to element, then we are going to return counter. Otherwise, if none of these cases are satisfied, then we will return -1. Let us implement this algorithm in C. So already declaration is done in the header file, and we have got locate, which will take a list. We are going to pass the list just by value because we are not going to make any changes that should get reflected. So it's okay to pass it by value, and we are going to pass the element that we are going to search also. And I have copied the algorithm here. This is the place where we are going to implement in cll.c. And let us do the declaration. Let me tell node start temp and int counter. First step is we are going to check if the list is empty, right? If it's empty of L, right? If the list is empty, then what we are going to do, we are just going to return -1, okay? And declaration is already done, and we have to initialize the temporary pointer temp equal to L dot head, right? And counter is equal to 1. And while next part of temp not equal to head, right, we are going to repeat step number 5 and 6. So let's tell while temp next not equal to L dot head, okay? We have to repeat step number 5 and 6. What does step number 5 tells us? Step number 5 tells check the data part of the node is equal to the element, right? So if temp dereference operator data is equal to the element, then we will return counter. Okay, otherwise you are going to be on the loop and tell temp equal to temp next, move to the next node. Okay, fine. Yes, ELE is the name, I just verified it. And this is the case. This step is to check the last node separately. So you are checking if temp data equal to ELE, then in that case you will return counter. Okay, and you return -1 if none of the cases are satisfied. Okay, so let us compile the code and check. And in the application file, what I have done is I have got the linked list with 1 2 3 4 5 and I am calling locate 1 and I am checking whether the value returned is -1. If the value returned is -1, let us tell element not found, otherwise you will be telling element is at position and print the value of t. So let's compile and check. So we see that there is no compilation errors. Let us run the code and check. Okay, so element is at position 1. Yeah, that is correctly coming. And let me check value which is not there. Let me tell 7, compile it and execute it. You are getting element not found, right? Let me give 5, that is the last node's value. Element is at position 1 we are getting. Actually, 1 minute, let me check for other values also. Maybe I am not incrementing the counter, I think. Yeah, is always returning 1. Let me go and check the code whether I am incrementing the counter. Yes, move to the next node and you have to increment the counter. I missed that, so only always it is printing 1. Okay, so now it is telling 4. Let me come to the application file and change this to 5. Compile the code and check it. Yes, it is telling element is at position 5. Okay, code will be shared in the GitHub. Thank you.